So today on The Engaging Marketeer, I wanted to talk about how to do business networking when you actually don't like business networking. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't. It's not something I've ever really enjoyed doing, not in the conventional sense of what networking is. But when you're in business for yourself and you need to drum up business, you need to get clients, you need to get contacts, you need to build your network because you don't necessarily know anybody or know the right people, then networking is understandably the one of the first things that you'll try. Going out into like pubs, bars, restaurants, wherever they may be, where they have these events, hotels, and meeting other business owners and telling them what you do and how you do it and why you do it and what you're looking for, and essentially hoping that they are going to become your clients. It's where a lot of people start for the first time, particularly in service-based businesses. Not so much for trades or product sellers, but when you're in a service-based business, it's the kind of thing that you naturally try. And the vast majority of people who try this are rubbish at it. They are absolutely shocking at it because none of us are trained to do it. None of us have a natural ability to do it until we go out and learn it, until we go out and try it, until we make mistakes and we perfect what works for us. So we all go out and have a go at business networking and it doesn't work. And it's horrible. It's a car crash. I remember one of my very first business networking events when we set up Engage Web back in, 2009 we started. So yeah, it must have been 2009. We went to, it was in a bar, a pub not far from where we're based in Ellesmere Port. It was a bar called, I keep saying bar, it's not a bar, it's not a bloody wine bar. I'm trying to dress it up a little bit. It was a pub. It's called the Chimneys. It's quite a popular pub around here. It's really nice, as it happens. They do good food. They do good beer. But we went to this pub for this business networking event. And it was the usual fare. There were, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 businesses in there, all hovering around this particular area. And there were 3 or 4 accountants, there were 3 or 4 financial advisors, there were 3 or 4 web designers, the usual thing, what you expect. And we go in with a stack of business cards, and we're expecting to hand out business cards, get business cards for other people, and then they're going to become our clients. Because that's how networking works, isn't it? No, it isn't. That's not how it works at all. That's how we all think it works when we do it for the first time. And then we realize it doesn't work and we think networking shit, it doesn't work. And then we don't bother again. That's terrible. So we went into this networking group and we handed out our business cards when people asked for them. And we asked for business cards off other people, telling them, oh yeah, we build websites. We've been building websites for a long time. Oh, we've just set up, ourselves. Yeah, but I've got lots of experience in it. And nobody gave a shit. Quite frankly, nobody gave a shit how much experience I had in building websites, and why should they? They don't. And that's the first lesson that you need to learn about networking. Nobody gives a toss, how long you've been doing what you do. They don't care what experience you got. They don't care who you've done it for. They're just not interested. They're not interested, so don't start talking about that. Nobody cares. And there was one thing I remember to this day, and it's always bugged me. That the person running the event was in, I'm going to say in digital marketing. They're not really in digital marketing. They're loosely connected in a digital marketing space. And as soon as she found out what we did, what the business was, she just turned around and walked away from us. Turned around and walked away. Didn't even say, oh, I do that, or that's a competition with me, or that, not even a goodbye. Just turned around, walked off. So what was that? Why? How rude was that? And I've seen this woman a couple of times since in the last 15 years and blanks me every single time. It's not like I've left it as a grudge. It's there, constantly festering. So that was our first experience. We went in, we handed out business cards, we collected a few business cards, and funnily enough, we got no clients. What a complete and utter waste of time. And I thought that's what networking was. And over the space of the next few years, we did something similar. We'd go to Chamber of Commerce events that we have here in the UK. We'd go to any type of networking event that allowed you to go in and hand out cards. We'd go to business shows, business fairs, where they'd have exhibitors who would pay for those pop-up banners that they'd put there behind a table, and they'd all stand there with their flyers and expect you to come up and be their client. And we'd go around there and we'd hand out business cards, and not a bloody thing of it worked. It didn't work, and I absolutely freaking hated it. The worst part about it is, and this is personal to me, you may feel the similar thing yourself, or you may not, I hated walking into a room full of people. I hated going to an event, usually in a hotel, walking into a room and finding there were 15, 20, 30 or more people in there already, because I felt like I was intruding. I was the person who's that's just walked in? Oh, he's no use to us, he can't help us. And they'd all turn around and start chatting again, and you'd feel like a complete outsider. You're having to break into their conversations, which I don't like to do. A lot of people don't like to do it. And it just felt like I wanted to go home. I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to be anywhere near it. I absolutely freaking hated it. So that was my experience of networking. What a load of crap. Doesn't work. You meet a load of people, you give out a load of business cards, you don't get any business. Complete and utter waste of time. And I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of business owners out there who feel the same way. They think networking is a load of shit. We don't want to do networking because it's a waste of time. You never get any clients from it. And that's possibly one of the biggest mistakes that I make during networking, that most people make, is that you go there expecting to pick up clients. It's not going to work like that. That is not how it works. You don't go to a networking meeting and think, right, there's 30 people in this room. 2 or 3 of them surely need a website. 2 or 3 of them surely are going to become my clients by the end of the meeting. No, that's called selling to the room. If you try and sell to the room, they are not interested, because they are not in there to buy from you. They are in there to promote their own services. That is what they want to do. They want to promote their own services. They want to grow their business, not buy from you. So if you try to sell to the room, you are completely wasting your time. Now, what you should be doing, and this is a secret that I learned many, many years later, is looking to connect the people that you meet at the networking event with the people they most want to speak to, who you know from your connections. Maybe it's your existing clients, maybe it's your suppliers, maybe it's your family, your friends, maybe it's people who are in your business, people who are in your business center, if you're in a business center, maybe it's people who are in another networking group who you know, whatever it may be. Who do they want to speak to? Who do they want to help? Who's going to be most beneficial to them? And how can you connect them? Because if you are seen to be connecting other people, they are going to want to talk to you. They are going to want to speak to you because you are the one that helps them. That's like the key. That's the secret to it all. That is the magic bullet. Don't go to a networking meeting thinking, I need to sell my service to these people, or I'm just wasting my time. I need to build a relationship with these people, and I'm going to do that by connecting them to the people they most want to speak to. So, for example, if you go to a networking meeting and you speak to a mortgage broker, whatever you do in business, don't try and sell your service to that mortgage broker. You want to speak to that mortgage broker and you want to say, so tell me, where do most of your business leads come from? Where do most of your clients come from at the moment? And listen to what they say. They may say it's from an accountant, or it's from a financial advisor, or it's from an estate agent, or letting agent, or a property developer, or it may be something completely different. It may be an insurance broker. It'll be something that is related to their industry, probably, but it might not be. And they're going to be, that's the ones that they get business from. Those are the people they need to get more introductions to, because the more people like that they meet, the more referrals, the more business they're likely to get. And then you need to think, right, well, I'm I know one of those people. I know somebody that does that. I'll see if I can introduce you. Would that be okay? Would that be a good introduction for you? Yeah, of course it would. Of course it would. You're looking to help them. Right, let me take your card. Let me take your details. Here's mine. I'll see if I can make that introduction for you. And then when you go back to your office, or you go back to your house, or you go back to your car, or whatever you go in, you try to make an introduction for that person. Now, this is the tricky bit. This is the bit most people fall down on. It's the follow-up. And then there's an old phrase, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to groan when I say it, the fortune's in the follow-up. Yeah, I know. But it really is. If you leave a networking meeting and you don't do anything about it, you don't follow up, you don't get in contact with people, then you've just wasted your time. You've wasted your time. You need to connect with everybody there. So if you say to someone, I'm going to try and find you an introduction, then you need to try and find them an introduction, and you need to do it, and you need to go back with them, and this is what I've done, this is what I've done for you. But how do you get the introduction? So, for example, I was talking about this in a networking training event the other day, and it was, how do you find the introduction for somebody when the person you're trying to introduce them to already has that service covered? So, for example, the idea was an accountant. So if I'm talking to, let's say it's a plumber. I'm talking to a plumber about trying to get an introduction for an accountant. And I say to the plumber, oh, have you got somebody that handles your accounts already? Somebody that does your accounting already? Yes, I have. I've got an accountant already. Yeah, are you happy with them? Yes, I'm very happy with them. Thank you. Oh, well, that's that conversation dead, isn't it? That's not going to work. That's not what you say. You don't give them the opportunity to kill the conversation. Let's try that a little differently. So have you got somebody that handles your accounts at the moment? Yes, I have. I've got an accountant already. Oh, really? Well, out of interest, because I'm curious how people rate their suppliers. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being absolutely terrible, 10 being amazing, wouldn't change a thing, how would you rate your accountant? And that's the key. Nobody ever gives a 10. Nobody ever says, oh, they're 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 all day long. I mean, they might. There might be one rare occasion where that happens, but by and large, that's not going to happen. How do you rate your accountant out of 10? Usually what they're going to say is 9 if they're really happy with them, 7 or 8 if there's things that are bugging them, or it could be lower. It could be a 6 or a 5. Whatever they say, anything from a 1 to a 9. You follow up with, oh, that's interesting. Tell me, what would they have to do for you to rate them as a 10? What would they have to do for you to rate them as a 10? And then that person will immediately start to tell you everything that's wrong with their accountant, everything they don't like about them. And I did this as an experiment the other night when I was explaining to someone, this is how you get introductions. So I did it on him. So how do you rate your accountant out of 10? He said a 7. I said, oh, what is it? What would they have to do for you to give them a 10? And he started saying, well, they're not very proactive. They don't get in touch with me. I have to contact them and ask them for advice. They don't come to me with suggestions. They don't come to me with ways that I could save money, or ways that I could invest my money better, or ways that I could cut costs. They don't do anything like that. I'd rather an accountant that was better at that. And that is your routine. It's like, well, the accountant that I have, actually, they're very good at that. They're constantly getting in touch with me about ways I can do this and ways I can do. They're very proactive. I think you'd find they're a lot better than the accountant you've got, because they seem to do all the things that you want your accountant to do. Would it be okay if I introduced you? What are they going to say? You've literally just explained to them and got them to tell you what they don't like about their existing accountant and why this one is different and doesn't have those problems. And they've told you that. They've told you the problem. That's how it works. So don't go to networking events thinking, I'm going to sell to the room. I'm going to throw my business cards out. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm all this, I'm all that. Listen to me, I'm fantastic. Look at all the experience I've got, because nobody gives a shit. All they care about is what's in it for them. So what you've got to do is let them tell you what they want and then help them get it. And if you let them tell you what they want and you help them get it, they are going to be very grateful to you. And it's easy to help them get it if you use that approach by asking, how would you rate your existing whatever it is on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being terrible, 10 being absolutely amazing, wouldn't change a thing. What score would you give them? And they will never, ever give a 10. Nobody ever gives a 10. And then use that information to find out what it is they don't like about their current supplier, about their current person they're using. And they will tell you everything they don't like about them. That is how you use networking. That is how you use networking to get better business, better leads, better referrals, and to make it work for you so you don't have that horrible, shallow, hollow feeling of going into a room full of people, trying to sell to the room, it not working, and you walking out thinking, what an utter waste of my time. I hate doing that. I feel dirty. And it doesn't work. So that's my tip on that. Just thinking about it, actually, there's one other thing I think is worth mentioning. Definitely worth mentioning. I mentioned I didn't like walking into a room full of people, and I don't. I would much prefer to be one of those people in the room when others walk in. So like safety in numbers sort of thing. So what I do, and this is my best tip for networking, for people that really hate business networking, and that's to get there first. If you're the first person in the room, after the organizer perhaps, you don't want to be there before them. If you're the first person, the first guest, the first attendee to arrive, you can pick where you sit. You can pick where you stand. You can pick what you're going to do, where you're going to be, so that you stake out your place. It's kind of an animalistic thing. You stake out your territory so that as the next person arrives, they see you as being already there. You're someone to speak to because you're there waiting. You're there early. You must be important. Or you just hate networking, so you got there early. And then as every other person walks in, you're the one that's already there. You're one of the many people that's already there. That way you never, ever walk into a room full of people. You never have that horrible moment where there's dozens and dozens of people turn and looking at you as you walk in. You're the first one there. That's my tip for that. Get there early. So I hope that's been useful because, quite frankly, I hate networking, but I am very good at it. I've just grown that way. It wasn't natural. I had to evolve, make a lot of mistakes, cock a lot of things up, but I am now very good at it. So tips. There you are. Have it. This has been The Engaging Marketeer. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave me a 5-star review on iTunes if you can. Put me a review on Google Business. I don't care, whatever you do. And I will catch you on the next podcast.